came here to prove no tricks in the room, just hands on the board and a clear way through. You bring your best line, I bring my best move. No cheap little win, just something we can build. Lock eyes, take your place, let the crowd make room. One league, one name, and we all rise up. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your heart. That's what we do. We trade what we know, we teach what we find. A hand for the new, a seat on the line. From first time to champs, we grow side by side. No one gets left out, no one stays behind. Lock eyes, take your place, let the crowd make room. One league, one name, and we all rise up. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. If you fall, we stay. If you win, we cheer. Every round we learn, every voice gets near. No throne, no gate, just an open door. What we make right here can always be more. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. Fair fight, hands up, come through. Fair fight, this league is you. Out in the wild grass, you froze my breath. I saw you move like a living myth. Bright-eyed storm with the blade thin frame. I said your name like I knew that flame. You turned your head, I held my ground. No crowd, no crown, just that heart pound sound. I read your steps, you read mine too. One wrong move and the sky split blue. Then you came in close and you pulled away. I sent my drone on the edge of the fray. Your pulse ran hot, my hand stayed steady. One more hit and the shard was ready. I caught you. Now you're mine to run with. I caught you.
All right, all right, all right. We're back at it once again. Hello and good morning, everybody, as apparently I'm snowing here this morning. My apologies about that. But of course, we have some more Obelisk Rising playtesting coming on through in just a moment's time. Looking forward to this. Of course, I don't normally stream in the mornings. However, with this playtest becoming a thing, I wanted to sneak a little bit more in here before I actually get into Illuvium Arena House League later on this afternoon. Registration for that is still open, by the way, if you do want to come play Arena House League, especially now that the Caribou Cup, for example, for newcomers is in the casual mode specifically. You don't have to worry about the ownership of the Illuvial side of things. Just come out and play. So if you want to do that, description has the link there for the sign up. Now, in regards to our adventure so far here in Obelisk Rising, we got started with the tutorial and some of the first couple of levels in Obelisk Rising for the last little bit. We had caught our first Chucco. That was our first catch in the game. And they essentially were the carry of sorts for the first little bit. A very, very tanky fella did us absolute wonders. In fact, there they are right here. This awesome beast has held the line for us very, very nicely. But then after that, we did get ourselves into a little bit of a pickle. We did realize very quickly that the levels of our opponents, while following the main quest line, actually got to an unbearable level of high. The quest, like we see here with Frozen Obelisk here on the right-hand side, was labeled as a level 10 quest. However, you go to play up against the bad guys, or the enemies rather, and they were level 35. So that was a little bit of a roadblock scenario. There's no chance that we were going to be able to defeat that. So now I have to kind of think of some other things. I spent a lot of time, or not a lot of time, maybe about an hour and a half today, strictly, while I was watching Drakenyen's stream, strictly just leveling up my mining, because I wanted to get as many shards as possible for today's stream, because I have a lot of catching to do. And I kind of quickly want to showcase, first off, what I'm going to be doing with all of these shards. Of course, my goal for today is to capture at least one tier 1 Illuvial. To do that, these cured shard fragments, the one that you would use for the tier 0s, are not necessarily going to cut it. But what you can do is kind of level up your shards through getting a bunch of the weaker ones. You could turn it into another one kind of scenario. Add on a little bit of essence fragments and credits, which right now come rather abundantly because you don't have to worry about crafting or anything else. There's nothing really else that I can use these with that I'm aware of anyway. So there's nothing punishing me for just spending this all onto these shards. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, say, 3/4 of these shards, and I'm going to turn them into the common ones, so the tier 1 shards. So we can get ourselves about 15. And I'll still have a couple of cured shard fragments left over as well in case I want to chase some tier 0s, because I will absolutely need to. There we go, got those. So I still have 15 in the bank, and now I've got a bunch of the common shards here as well. 25 of them now, so there's no excuse. How did I get so many shards? Well, there's 2 ways that you can do it. First and foremost, near the beginning in Sanctum Mesa, way down where you would start, before you even get into the dome, but just down, say, if I were to point out on the map, like say in this forest area. In this area, there is a section, I believe, right around here, where there is 4 nodes for mining that you can just rotate through rather nicely, and that's one way to do it. But I have another location that I've been working on, and when we hop back into Taiga Boreal, I will showcase my my farming method that I was using for this. Big Man JB, ex-billionaire, good to see you. Yep, I'm early today. I wanted to get some more Obelisk Rising in before the playtest, or not before the playtest, before the House League today. So I'm going to do 2 hours here of Obelisk Rising. I'm going to take a quick lunch break and play with the kids for a bit, and then we'll be right back with Illuvium Arena House League around 3:30 my time. In terms of the Illuvials that I have as of this moment, I'm kind of rocking 4. I've got 3 nature, 1 fire, and then I have a couple of other Illuvials in the back line. I'm keeping 1 space open here for potentially a tier 1, or if I can find a nature flish, or not a Nature Flish, a Nature Valente. I'll gladly add it to the squad. I want to have a full Nature team, not for any reason in particularly, just because I like them. And I spent some time off stream leveling them as well. So I have every single one of my Illuvials at least to level 12. My Tipo and my Fleesh happen to be 13. But considering we have to go up against potentially level 35s for the next quest, it's going to take a little bit of grinding. So we'll start off with the fun stuff. We're going to start off with trying to catch the Illuvials here first. All right. So I'm going to do my best here today to just kind of walk through everything. Since I am looking for Illuvials first and foremost, I want to have a chance to actually running into them. And you may also notice something in regards to my builds. Let me take a look at that as well. Because something is apparently obvious with the way that Illuvium is meant to be played, is that there's supposed to be like a role designated for, well, situations, so to speak. So I was trying to farm, and I did all of my farming from up to level 4 of my Illuvials, so getting them all to level 12. I did all of that while playing water, and that was doable, but it took a very long time. So I figured if I'm not in a, or what I'm going to try here today, if I'm not going to be doing support-specific tasks, like if I'm not going to be the support in a dungeon, what's the point in me going into the water tree? Let me just specifically go into DPS, or in this instance here, fire. So I'm going to be making the switch over to fire. This is kind of what I'm working with right now, where I'm basically just maxing out the one ability. The Ergen Bomb, while it does have a decent amount of damage, just takes way too damn long to actually come out. But what I found here with just relying on some of these fire abilities is that just the raw power you get from the fire core, even though these are pretty low level, in fact I just have like a point in them, they can still do a phenomenal amount of damage compared to my pure water builds that just tickled. So that's going to be our goal here for today. Using this fire build to kind of be our damage catalyst. Of course, one of the bugs, unfortunately, that does come on through is the fact that my abilities will move every single time we teleport. But this is just much better compared to what I was doing before. Yes, these are a bit lower leveled, but we can still just absolutely cleanse those. I would be sitting there much longer if I was playing water. So I'm going to be playing fire for the next foreseeable future, while I'm just doing solo clearing, because again, there's just absolutely no purpose in going for water if I'm not in a dungeon, I think. And we'll have to see once dungeons come around if the stronger heals and the support is worth having over just another player doing specifically damage. That is definitely something I look forward to trying out in a little bit. So first off, in regards to my farming route, there's a section just up here I do want to showcase a little bit. Yeah, that's so much faster. But just underneath this waterfall, I spent a lot of time this morning, probably about an hour, hour and a half, just working on this section here. There are 5 node spots that do end up spawning, and 4 of them being the early level ones. This one you can tackle immediately, and I got to learn a little bit more about how the drone works in regards to their level up and progression. Because before, if I went over to this rock, it would say, hey, you need to be level 15 for the drone and mining. Now I can actually do that. We can see this part here, even though it's still going to have the chance to fail, this is where I believe it's called the Titanite, so the other ore that you could potentially use for crafting maybe a little bit down the road.
The crafting table now.
There's Titanite, and then you could still get fragments from that as well. I've had a little bit of better luck trying to find cured shards there as well. But these nodes continue to respawn in the exact same positions. So botters or anybody who has like a Steam controller or something with a turbo button, I do not advise this, but I want to point this out for the sake of developers. There is absolutely nothing. If I can set a controller to hitting the turbo button, If I just sit here and mash E over and over again, I can absolutely exploit the hell out of this rock, because I'm going to be able to get it. It'll disappear for a bit, but eventually you can just level up, or not level up, but eventually that rock will spawn back in, and you can just get it over and over again. So get that turbo button. You could literally be mashing E. There's no punishment for doing that. And eventually that rock will come back into the exact same position. So devs, do keep that in mind if you're worried about bots, because yeah, right there, it comes right back in. I can just keep mashing E and do it all over again. That's not how I did it. I specifically ran from rock to rock to rock, just try and speed up the process, which then in this menu off to the right-hand side, you can then see your drone's skills and where they're leveled. I got mine currently up to level 16, that way I can get the Titanite, but I currently have not found a purpose to level up harvesting. There is still a good spot for it, though. I'm going to show you my farming route for experience, which then actually does lead into my my harvesting section here as well. Because we're in this area before in regards to a quest line, but what I found is that this area is actually pretty decent in regards to leveling from, say, 1 to 10 for your Illuvials. Because right when you get into here, they start to get around the 12 to 15 level kind of mark here. Let's take a look and see if we can see what I'm talking about. They actually might have lowered this down a little bit. I'm curious if that did get changed, but still, around level 11, not too bad. I can absolutely just hop on through very quickly, even without any heals, and just shred this over and over and over again. Spend a little bit of time, dodge the shield, of course, here as well. And then just clean up. Some more mobs over here that I can worry about. And in about a half hour of just running this cave over and over and over again, I was able to get everybody from essentially level 3 to level 12, if not higher. And that was with water. I didn't do this with fire, so you can absolutely do this much, much faster. Like my Flish is already level 14. There's then this cave. This one, it depends on how brave you are, how high your ranger level is. You could absolutely go nuts if you really wanted to. I will pop some not some cooldowns, but some consumables here at the same time. But yeah, you could genuinely just farm the living hell out of this, and you get experience so quickly for the early stages, trying to get past those early stages. And then here's the spot for nature, or for harvesting. If you really wanted to harvest and level that thing up, you can absolutely just stick around here. It seems like you could even harvest some of these mushrooms multiple times. And with that as well, it's actually okay if your drone fails. Because here, if I were to pull up that menu that I had earlier and was going for harvesting, I can still harvest while this menu's up, so you can see. Whether I actually get the node or not, the number will go up. Yeah, it's 2 at a time, so it's pretty slow. Especially for harvesting, that seems ridiculously slow. Mining was about 10 per. But you can go through this process if you really wanted to. Again, I don't know the purpose yet of getting the harvesting leveled up, because I don't know if you need that for crafting yet. All I know is that it gives you a bunch of the essences that give you health restoration. So I could very well do it for that, but if there's another reason, that's probably a quick way, or the best way, that you can power level that I know of, at least as of right now. If I know something better sometime down the line, I'll gladly let you know. But of course, the main goal here for today is to try and find some Illuvials. Now, for our tier 1s, I mean, it wasn't in this cave, it was actually just outside where we were that I had the best success at finding actual Illuvials. Granted, a lot of them were tier 0s, but there was a couple of occasional awesome Illuvials in the wilds there as well. There was, of course, we saw the Riptor, we saw Atlas and Archie at one point, and unfortunately they all absolutely destroyed us, but it was also very under-leveled, so we'll see what we can find. to see what we can do. Catching up here with chat in just a sec here. Let's see. Bigman JB, Sign of Water seem to be better for survival. And Firefighter for ripping through, absolutely. Definitely seems the case, so especially when I'm confident that I can survive fights, Fire seems to be the better choice. Pokemon World Warcraft, pretty much, Zexy. Good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Same thing here with CFGD. Good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And everybody else here that happens to be in chat. Ex-Billionaire. See you there as well. Hope you're having a great day. Couldn't there be more info pauses? Extract something down for the first time. You'd think. Like, that would be one way to do it. Because you do see that in some MMOs, but not necessarily all of them. Okay. Yeah, it was right up here before that we did find Atlas, but we're not going to be able to find him just yet. I don't think that's a guaranteed spawn by any means. So with that, I'm going to keep my flesh tucked in. And I'm just going to essentially run the field for a little bit. Just try to explore a little bit. And see if we can find our very first Illuvial. Now, Big Man, you mentioned upgraded weapons. That is something I've not explored yet, and I personally would absolutely love to look into, because it does feel like my Ranger, even as Fire, when I start to go up against some of the higher leveled enemies, that my Ranger just tickles. And if it's a matter of upgrading weapons, maybe that is something I need to look into a little bit more. And another thing that I do need to do as well, again, something that was not told to me in the game, but one thing that was told to me in the testing chat, is that the bonding system is in fact in the game. So what that is, of course, is being able to take your extra Illuvials and being able to kind of use their essence to squish them into another one, so to speak. And you do get bonuses for that. I have one on my Flish actually right now. If I were to highlight it here, it shows bonds level. I've got them up to level 2, which then gives affinity bonds, which, if I'm understanding correctly, essentially adds nature damage to whatever I'm doing. So I don't have the perfect explanation for it. I'm not sure if this accounts for spells or just the auto attacks, but whenever my Flish is out, I, in theory, do a little bit more damage, which is awesome, and there's a bunch of other perks that I have not discovered just yet. Just looking for an Illuvial. It seems rather quiet, and that is one thing I think a few people have been mentioning in the Discord over the last couple of hours as well, is that while there are enemies in abundance, trying to actually find Illuvials is very few and far between. I'm very surprised that in this walk that I just did across this entire section, I did not find a single one. Because normally, even if it was just a tier 0, I'd find something. So I'm kind of stuck just playing with the enemies and moving on from there. I'm going to go back up here. I know this is a little bit of a higher level area. Just take a peek. Nothing. I'm just going to essentially go back and forth, almost like I'm shiny hunting, but I'm just looking for Illuvials. Bottom icon in the menu on the left in regards to upgrades. That would be this guy here. And it doesn't show me anything. So am I supposed to, for instance, then grab my a weapon from the inventory and do that? Is that what you're saying? If I were to do, say, that, it does actually let you do that. Okay, I see. So I've got an abundance of aluminium, but I do need more titanite eventually. Let's see. This one's guaranteed, so there's no point for me not to. So now the ionized rod. I don't see anything as of yet. It still says the same thing. I don't even know if it technically actually even worked right now. Okay, so it took the resources. Is it down at the bottom? Yeah, I can't tell if it actually did anything, unfortunately, there. I've lost the resources for them both. But I do not see the rod, so that's a little bit odd. I'll have to look at that a little bit later, unfortunately. Gonna beat me out a little bit. Yeah, we'll do our best to try and find some Illuvials here for the bond system, as well as getting, hopefully, our first Tier 1. We got teased so badly yesterday. We had a bunch of Illuvials show up, and I'd mentioned the Archie, the Atlas, those two showed up relatively early, but then the Slappin' and the Riptor, and a Mule, all showed up as well, but I did not have anything in regards to shards to be able to capture those, so it's cool to see them out in the wild. I'd absolutely love to catch them, but there's definitely a little bit of time needing to be put in to actually get shards that level, because as it stands right now, I don't think you can just raw craft a shard at all. You have to do the leveling up process like I was showing you before. So you'd need to get a bunch of the basic shards, eventually turn those into tier 2s, eventually turn those into tier 3s, and eventually turn those into tier 4s, potentially 5s later down the road. And that will take a bunch of time. There's Perry working on... I wonder if he's trying to spam that rock like I was kind of talking about earlier. There's Perry, one of the devs here, if not the lead dev, I believe, in regards to Obelisk Rising. Good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Going to continue to see if running back and forth will actually change the spawns, or if I have to genuinely leave the area. I'm not 100% sure, all things considered. Because I'm trying to treat this as to how I would treat, say, Pokemon shiny hunting, where as soon as you get out of range, the respawn kind of resets. But because this is an MMO, maybe there's a bit of a different timer system compared to a single-player experience. Maybe I don't see any stat increases and doesn't seem to work yet. Okay. But there is that system. Definitely good to know. Not trying to find combat, but very well might find me. I might just be out of luck, and because this is an MMO, it doesn't reset the way that I'm thinking. So yeah, this is a little bit frustrating, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a single Illuvial, not even a tier 0 is showing up for me right now. It's just strictly all of the random bad guys. And in that cave that I had mentioned before, I had never seen an Illuvial actually spawn there. So I'm gonna have to get into some more dangerous areas to actually try and find one, it seems. I mean, I'll go up to here, but this is an area where it starts to get a little bit tougher. Maybe I'll make my way down there again in a little bit. Yeah, down in this area, you start getting into the upper teens, if not some of them even getting into the 20s. Let's check the cave. Thankfully, we can shred that relatively quickly now. Or am I going back to where I would normally farm? I think this is where I'd farm, right? Yeah, okay, this wasn't the cave that I thought it was. Let's go back. Bream, good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Trying to find some Illuvials. They're kind of eluding me as of this moment, but that's alright. We've got lots of time to find them. I got lots of shards in the pocket. At least tier 1s. If I find a tier 2 or tier 3 or something higher, I'm probably still out of luck, but I can still potentially give it a shot here. I believe there's another cave somewhere around here. Can't remember exactly off the top of my head. I haven't necessarily explored this area too much outside of just trying to get the checkpoints. Now I'm waiting for the power spike, because this area before used to be much stronger unless there was a change made within literally minutes. Yeah, now we're in the 20s. Okay, that's more than what I was expecting. Or that's what I was expecting. Yeah, it takes much longer now. The one thing that I do, unfortunately, kind of dislike a little bit compared to how it used to be in the previous playtest is having the Illuvials Omega tied to a charge bar that gets used immediately compared to it being used to a button that we can activate feels very bad. What I would love is a mixture of the two if possible. Like, let's say my Flish, if it were able to charge up the bar, then I can hit a button when to use it, that would be absolutely incredible, because a lot of times the damage or the heals just comes out at times where it's absolutely unnecessary. And I can especially feel it with, say, my Atipo, where it fires off a heal when I'm sitting there completely full health and didn't end up needing it. Then when I actually need the heal, it's charging. It's essentially completely useless. So every single class could absolutely use this. I'd love to see if there is a way to charge the bar, then let me activate it myself. Do not make it automatic. Because 9 times out of 10, it just gets used for something I did not want to end up using it for. Trying to pack a punch on something maybe a little bit bigger. Now, I don't think I'm actually supposed to even technically activate this yet. Normally, these things are a part of a quest line, so I'm going to pause for a moment and not do that just yet. Flish, come back. I need you to heal over time. Still looking for my first Illuvial. Grocco, come out for a second. I just tried to aim down sights again. Some things don't change. Alright. Yeah, Grocco's stun could absolutely be valuable in new situations as well. Now, these fights are definitely getting tougher, but I am starting to get to the point where I can at least hold my own a little bit. I might have a couple of Illuvials that get knocked out, but at least it works. Let's take a look here, catching up with check. Cool. You should be able to choose manual or auto. I completely agree. That'd be one way that you can do it. So wouldn't it be much more fun if you can swap between the fire and the weapons? I bet using the same weapon can be boring over time. You'd think, but that is basically an MMO staple. And in fact, being able to do things like, say, for example, if I wanted to completely reset my build and go back into water, normally in most MMOs, you're not going to be allowed to do that. But here you're actually allowed to. We do get our first Illuvial of the day. It is going to be a Flish. I do want this just for the sake of the bond system. But it is going to put me in an awkward spot. It is a very weak Illuvial in a sea of big guys. We're going to fire off the weak shard to try and get it. We are going to get it. I'm going to hit L and see that absolutely nothing changes, so I don't know why they were telling me to hit L after a capture last time. Just shows the same menu, unfortunately. Let's not get laser beamed, please. There we go, level 21. Are you in a different region? Are there different servers? So with this, there's kind of like small sections across the entirety of the game. Like, say, Sanctum Mesa, you do need to then go over into a different area, or into Taiga Boreal, and it's a different area, kind of speak. But it's the same server, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, when I went this way last time, there was a Rye when I was on stream. It's been a little bit. The enemies are getting stronger, but I do want to see where I stand amongst these big guys. My Grocco's fallen behind a little bit, so let's go. Okay, so I can actually cleave through these 20s at least a little bit better. I'm not sure if there was a change or if just switching the fire was literally the big difference. So maybe by the end of the stream, then, we can actually look to contest that quest. Now, from what I understand, there's basically the same server, and you would be able to play with people no matter what, but only in cases where there is a big population boom does it kind of like split off a little bit to like untax the server load, if that makes sense. I'm not doing a good job talking about it. Of course, anytime I'm talking about something tech-wise, I tend to struggle a little bit, but there is a way where you can play with people all the time, but there is also a way to kind of split it up a little bit so it's not completely destroying the servers. Now, I think I actually have to let my Grocco die now, because since I do not have a heal built in, I don't think that we can even top them up, because even the consumable, I think, only works for me. One thing I'm going to note, let me make a mark here exactly where I am, ranger spot. Because, yeah, look at this. There is so much ore here, it's actually incredible. Let me mark... it's not going to let me mark, okay? Interesting. Like the mobs, it can be more difficult for your level. People could steal your XP. From what I understand, when I was playing with a couple of players yesterday, when we were all in the same area, that hitting the same target did not actually punish me. Oh, these are... Frick, these are level 30? Really? Are these all level 30? Nope, that one's a 15. I don't have a heal, so I'm going to have to let Grocco die. Switch them up, a Tipo. Continuing the shoot. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's just because I have low graphics settings, but it does not look like the laser beam that comes out from the list actually shows up. Okay, we have another Grocco. I do want to capture one. Just for the sake of the bond system. We should be able to blow it up rather quickly. %50 chance. And we do end up getting it. There we go. So some more for the bonding system in a second. I'll showcase how that works again in a little bit here. Quickly snag this on the run. Grocco is not permanently dead. No, what just ends up happening is it's kind of hidden behind me here, but you can see he's on a little bit of a cooldown. 3, 2, 1. And then he can come back up to play at full health. No permadeath. Just goes onto a cooldown, so you can't necessarily spam them into a fight kind of thing. One other thing I will note in regards to the extracting, if I could find another node. When you do start it, if you run too far away, it will cancel your harvest. So one thing I've noticed, wait until the big blue extraction symbol goes. Now I can run. And I'll get my inventory. Okay, there's another one of these. I'm still looking for some Illuvials, but I'm starting to get into some heavy hitters here. Kinda want to run back and see what I can find. I don't want to just sit here and farm mobs, though, so... Grocco, come back for a second. The fights are easy. There needs to be a death penalty. I mean, in some MMOs, you would see some sort of repair system, which does not look like it is the case here. I believe Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft, for example, both have those. Heck, even Palworld, which I know this game does get compared to quite a lot, does have some sort of repair system. But it does also emphasize the just go out and play and keep trying nature of the game, compared to a survival-esque kind of experience. So the fact that there's like no repair system, for example, doesn't really bother me. I inadvertently found a new teleporter. I thought I was going back to the way I came, but I'll gladly accept that. You know what? Let's go over to where that quest is. I should be able to run by these 31s, jump up here. I don't know if this is the route that it's intended to take, but it does work. We're already 21. Do we know how high it goes? It's 60? I'm not 100% sure, personally. And it won't be easy to reach if this is the case. I'm not sure. We'll have to see, because like these fights are starting to get harder, not mechanically, but statistically. And I need to somehow beat these guys to finish this quest. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to complain about the fights being easy, because yeah, I'm still going to be absolutely outstatted. And that's supposed to be a level 10 mission as of this moment, so I hope that gets fixed. Or it's at least a little bit more appropriately showcased. Alright, I'm going to go back to where we were in the earlier zone. Because I want to find some more Illuvials. The whole point of this entire game, of course, is to be capturing Illuvials. I've found 2 in what feels like 20 minutes. So I'm hoping it's going to improve a little bit. From the top, let's see what we can get. Zigoprico, close fight. Yeah, seriously. Good to see you, Zigoprico. Hope you're having a great day. Run right down the middle. Give me an Illuvial. There's baddies for days. There's tons of resources, which is fine in its own right. But we're all here for the Illuvials. Where the heck are they? Yeah, 'cause I'd love to be able to level up the bond system. I'd love to be able to find my first tier 1. But I'm having a hard time even just finding tier 0s at this point. I wouldn't mind catching a few more tier 0s as well. Like, getting the cured shards isn't a difficult thing for me anymore. I can load up with maybe 20 of them in maybe like 10 minutes or something like that if I really needed to. I'm not going to do that on stream, guys. My entire intention for mining earlier was so that I could have a bunch of shards and you don't have to sit with me as I do the tedious gathering. But I'm finding absolutely nothing in regards to Illuvials yet. When you capture... That is a good thing, though. In a sense, there should be, like, some rarity, I guess. What I kind of wish it was is that we were getting tier 0s more often. So when I do finally find that tier 1, it does feel special. But, like, right now, I'm just excited to see a tier 1 because I haven't seen anything in forever. Yes, I'm going to absolutely feel euphoria when I do find a tier 1. But getting to that point is a little bit overkill, if that makes sense. Would like to quickly snag this if possible, but might not let me. Last time. Yeah, okay. It's going to be stubborn for me today. That's okay. Like I said, I'm not here to gather too much here on stream. And up here we found an Atlas before. Any luck today? Nothing. Man. That genuinely doesn't feel right. To me, at least. We'll take the long way. Feels like there could be more things like rocks, mud, trees on the ground. Ground looks too clean. A minor aesthetic thing, but I definitely understand. Little things that make the world feel a little bit more alive. I like the plantation, but there's always more that can be done. But at the same time, you're adding more processes to a computer, which to say a computer like mine might actually just completely make the game unplayable. Okay. Big mistake there from me. I did not actually have my my Grocco out there. And I did get some black boots, or black shoulder pads. What was it? Oh. Oh, that's my my back piece. I was going to say, is my shoulder pad's not matching what I saw on screen? Nope, that's a separate piece. Yeah, that drone has not the best mining skills, which is definitely a little bit odd, considering I've got this thing all the way grinded up to level 17, almost 17, level 16. So you'd think I'd be able to take care of that, but not as oft as you'd think. There is, of course, still some good that comes to whiffing or not getting anything at all. you still do get experience towards your drone. And in fact, it's sometimes a good thing if you're just trying to speedrun and level up your gathering. It's actually better if it fails, because the big animation for when you actually grabbed the resource doesn't actually play. Yeah, still just looking for some sort of Illuvial. Otherwise, I'd just like to go progress the quest further, but that's not necessarily going to be doable right now. Let's hop down here. I don't think I've explored here for a little bit. Let's take a look at the ice. This looks like a perfect location for a boss fight of sorts. And we do have a Flish. Okay, finally we got something. Let's see. Air Flish. Grocco. Do your thing. See, just about 50% chance to snag this guy. Absolute huge upgrade. We are, in fact, going to be able to grab them. Because that was level 20-something. Does this remain level 20? So that'd be a huge upgrade for me, actually. It does. So my Flish, big fix compared to the last playtest. If this was the last playtest, that Flish would have been level 1, making it completely pointless to go after higher level Illuvials. But now, I've got a massive upgrade thanks to this Flish. Awesome. Go back to Sancta Mesa and port back to the region. Bet the Illuvial spawns will reset. That very well might be something that could work as well. And I will absolutely test that. I just want to take a look at this area since I haven't traversed it yet. Today, anyway. See if maybe we can find something. Because, yeah, that's a huge upgrade. There's a teleporter here I missed as well, so I'll gladly accept that. Is that a Valente? I think we've got a Valente over there. Okay, level 24. Okay, I'm glad that we just got a Flish here. In theory, the air should be good against this. Let's see how it goes. I hit the button too early, trying to hit 1, so that's a bit of a mistake. It is going to reset, but it does allow me to get my cooldowns back, which is quite nice. It's about 50. Fire again. And we do get the Valente. There we go. So that's going to be yet another level 2024 onto that one. Damn, okay. So instead of being full nature, maybe I'm just going to get all of these heavy-hitting Illuvials from this area, because this has been a nice little bit of upgrading. Lastly, just check this section over here. If there's nothing, then I will try what Reem said here in the chat to go back to Sancta Mesa and then go into the region again and see what happens. Only problem with getting so many of these tier 0s is that I'm then using these these cured shards that I use to make commons, and I really don't want to be using my common shards on tier 0s. Okay. So let's try this. If I go back to Sancta Mesa, what happens? Or I'll go back to Sancta Mesa, I'll immediately go back into Taiga Boreal and see how it goes. Because if it's just a matter of resetting the instance for myself, then maybe that makes a little bit of sense. I find it kind of odd, though. I feel like I shouldn't have to go back to main base in order to get Illuvials to spawn again. I wonder what kind of Illuvials we're allowed to use, like ranger level from our inventory. Would it be easier to kill these fights if we had a Exalted Gorilla 80 TPI, for example? Definitely some questions that still need to be answered. We do know that they, of course, want our owned Illuvials to be a part of the game. There had been mentions before about limiting the level of the Illuvial, where whatever your ranger's level currently is what the level of your Illuvial would end up being, so that you don't randomly have a level 60 going into a level 10 area or something like that. But then the TPI also comes into question as well, or not TPI, but the tier. Are you going to be allowed to use a ramp fee, or a ramp fight, or a ramp fire, or something along those lines, or just in general, a tier 5? Can you use a tier 5 right off the rip, or is that something that's going to be unlocked with levels? We'll have to see as the game develops. We, of course, don't have to worry about that right now for the playtest. That kind of feature is not implemented as of this moment. Draco, come back here for a second. But let's see if Reem's on to something. Let's explore this area. There's usually some tier 0s in this area. Would definitely be nice if just a matter of a reset did end up making it come out. As of right now, no luck. So we'll go back to the way we came. Or actually, I don't think I've gone all the way down this direction, so let's just do some exploring. I didn't realize there was a crack in the cliff here. Curious if anything could spawn here as well. Just run it through the creek. It looks like there's a dungeon up there, actually. I want to see what level that happens to be. I'm probably not going to go into it. Okay, so we're in... This might not be a bad farming spot, actually, for my current level, if I wanted to just grind battles, because these are in the upper teens, but not breaking the 20s. Yeah, this is actually a good spot here for me to power level if I really wanted to, but again, I'm not going to do the grindy bits on stream here today. At least that's not my intention. This inadvertently is turning into a bit of a grindy bit, but we do find a lesser water Draco. Gonna grab that. My abilities did end up switching buttons again, so it's a little irritating, but get it done nonetheless. Try and take care of these big guys before I have to deal with the Graco, because it's about to go into in-rage. And there it goes. So we gotta burst this thing quickly. I literally bursted it quickly. I completely killed it. Great. I overkilled that thing. A little unfortunate there. I mean, I'll take the XP, but damn, yeah, that's not what I wanted. A level 1 in a sea of 19s kind of has my attention split a little bit. Yeah, so we have a purple portal here. It says teleport to dungeon. It doesn't tell me the level. I'm curious if it'll show me when I go through. The last time I did this, I went into the developer's closet, so hopefully that isn't going to be the case this time. And okay, this looks very familiar, or not very familiar. This isn't familiar at all. What an area have we found here? Level 16? Can we run this right now? You know what? Let's try it. We might get wrecked, but still, these are a little bit more doable in terms of levels, so I'm curious. Draco will end up falling, but that's okay. It's just on a timer. Poor Tipo is getting pummeled. Nice. Good shield, good heal. Gonna keep us going. Alright, part of me has to check. Does this explode? Okay, no. Alright, so far so good. We're not in the developer's closet. Did I not call that was going to explode? Okay. But I guess shooting it didn't do the trick. Interesting. Room cleared. Alright. What's next? Okay, we crank it up a little bit. This is where I wish that I had a little bit of backup, but let's see how we do. AoE all over the place. Let's go. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, I just got shredded to bits. Immediately Beybladed on. I might have to try that at least one more time. I can't say that that was a...
Another chance to conquer Illuvium.
Or what I can say is that was more of a skill issue rather than a game issue. So I do wish to try that at least one more time. I probably shouldn't have a Tipo out here. Flish, shoot from afar. This is gonna be messy. Can we pull them out here? Nope, 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 nope. Flish, come back. No, thank you. Any chance that I can pull you all the way into these explosions? Doesn't look like that is going to be the case. I definitely need to level up my Grocco 100%. Yeah, because I am definitely under-leveled here, but I want to see how far we can actually push when I'm not being stupid. That's rough. Okay. Essence. I should not have my Tipo be getting all of this good stuff. Doka, come on out. You're basically the pseudo-tank. Nope, nope, nope. Come back. Give the experience to be a Tipo anyway. Alright, interesting. Okay, that's 2 rooms cleared. We were Illuvial-wise completely under-leveled, but Ranger-wise it's pretty much exactly where we need to be. Do the green ones heal me by chance? Doesn't look like it. So yeah, these essences do not seem to heal me too much. Now we have a bunch of upper 20 or mid 20s it looks like. Is my Tipo's Omega just charging by itself? Here, let's pause for a second. Where art thou heals, my dear Tipo? Wait for it. Are you going to... You're not going to use it right now, are you? Interesting. Okay. If I swing at the door, will you use it? No? If there's an enemy nearby, we'll use it. Beyblade! Oh god, he's not even going to be able to really use it, is he? Completely shredded. We did get at least a little bit of heals, so it's not the worst played moment ever, but it's not optimal by any means. I want to get close for my big ability, but the thing is this thing does a decent chunk of damage, but it requires me to get so close. I'm about to lose all of my Illuvials, so I need Grocco to hold the line for me a little bit longer. But I'm not necessarily in a position to tank either. Okay, that wasn't too bad, but we are going to run out. Alright, we're getting there. Anybody available? Tipo? Come back. Essence? And the beam gets me at point blank range. We almost cleansed that. I think we're not doing bad, though. We're almost there.
Let's try that again.
I'm curious if it's just a matter of multiple rooms, or if there's something big at the end of the tunnel. Oh, did I go the wrong way? I very well might have. I don't even feel like I'm a part of the same dungeon right now. Oh, there you are. It spawned me into the next room because I was so close to killing it, I think. There we go. We got another point that we can use here for my class, it looks like. Unfortunately, I really don't care about getting my class points because I do not care about Ergen Bomb. Not in the slightest. While it is a nice additional AoE, it just takes way too damn long to come out to be really worth it. Even though there is a supportive aspect, if I was playing my support build, I would use this. But then casting Omega abilities reduces casting times, but at the same time, most of my abilities are instant cast. So do I really care about putting points here? I do not. And then it says I'm at 17 out of 10, which is kind of interesting. For the sake of it, I think I'll put just... It's the only way that I can not really waste it. Affinity points, I'm not getting anything, even though this is exactly where I need these points to go. So that's a little irritating. It says I have some points into water, but I don't. It's just a visual bug. Now, this is blue now. Can we go this way? We can. Now, what are the levels, I wonder? Let's get Valente to start us off here. 23? This might be doable. My Valente is going to absolutely get diabolically wrecked, though. That's a little unfortunate. Somehow went right into a shielding guy. Let's not do that. Essence, let's get that on cooldown so we can keep healing. And we will end up falling. Yeah, we just got absolutely slaughtered. So I very well might be a little bit out of here. A little bit out of my league. He said the bean. Is there positive casting?
Third time's the charm, right?
Oh. Am I in a rock? Uh-oh. I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I imagine I'll probably just die, right? Otherwise, it's going to be a short stream. There's no way that I can teleport out of here, is there? Let's try and see if we can do that. Yeah. Falling off the world is a pre-alpha classic. Heck, it even shows up into some betas. So that's kind of funny, but let's hope that I can just reset and get back in. Okay, it puts me at the start here. All right, so that was interesting, but I feel like we're still going to be roadblocked. If I were to go back in, actually, does it make me reset my progress? Oh, it did say tracking dungeon in progress. Maybe we can go back. I just hope it doesn't put me into the same spot. Okay, it has me at the start again. Oh, but then all the enemies are back. Okay. We'll come do this when we're a little bit more leveled, I think. I don't want to start over again. It still happens in Destiny 2, yeah. But the main goal, again, is to try and find some Illuvials. We did at least get some levels onto Grotto, which is nice. Oh, it's the not quite Valente things. Was it HoloLink? Of course, one of the bosses that we had seen in a Discord was basically a gigantic HoloLink. Godzilla-looking fella. And then we can go back and let's see here. So not only did we reset the instance from this going through Sanctum Mesa, but now we reset, in theory, the instance because we went back to the main menu and came back. Yeah, because I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit unfortunate. This first hour of gameplay of stream here today, you can give or take a couple of minutes because of me yapping at the start. But for this first hour of gameplay, I've maybe seen 3 Illuvials. And that's a little bit heartbreaking. Kirito, good to see ya. You're in chat, hope you have a fantastic day. Yeah, it's good to test no matter what, though. Still no luck as of this moment. That's what I'm curious about right now, because I've never seen the spawn rates this bad. And of course it happens when I'm actually focusing on it, but in the past, like, I'd be able to go back and forth down the river, because I was doing it farming mobs when I was really, really low, and at least some tier 0s would be a part of it. And heck, even on stream yesterday, we saw the Archie, we saw the Atlas, and it had me very excited for trying to hunt them here today. But it does not look like I'm going to get lucky here. And considering that both of my forms of progression, whether I want to be leveling up my bond level for my Illuvials, or whether I'm looking for just Illuvials in general to catch, both of them require me catching Illuvials, which is just straight up not happening right now. I've seen that comment been thrown around a little bit in regards to the brightness side of things, but I mean, I think there's settings for that. Like, it can be, like, turned up. Personally, at least for me, I don't see the problem with the current lighting. I should probably have an Illuvial to get some of this experience here, eh? Okay, so far the reset, the Sanctum Mesa, did not do anything, at least not in my first area. Let's see if something new comes out here. Check around these snow tops. I'll drop back down again where we saw our 2 level 21s. Drops need to be put. Are you talking about the items? Because personally, I think the drop part of it is just fine. The biggest issue I have currently with the items is the fact that right now, if I were to go through my inventory right now, I have an abundance, and it's unlimited. I imagine for the full release, that's probably not going to be the case, but at least for the time being, it is completely limited. And from what I understand, because I had asked in the chat and nobody said anything, but I was looking to see if there was a shortcut or a hotkey or something to make it so that I can sell off the other stuff very quickly and not have to do this over and over and over and over again to try and clean up my inventory a little bit, because that is extremely tedious and not very fun whatsoever. Yeah, I just have so much credits right now because there's nothing for me to really spend it on outside of making the making more shards, but I need to farm those shards in the first place to actually get there. I literally threw in the Discord, where are all the Illuvials? I've seen 3 in an hour. Try and see if that was intentional or not. Ronnie, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My poor Doke is going to go down. I'm going to go down because I dove directly into a Beyblade. That will be the case. Okay. What can I honestly work on right now, then? If Illuvials are just
Back in action, baby.
completely non-existent. Maybe let's drop down. I said I'd drop down and see if there's anything down here. Thank goodness there's no fall damage. Oh, there's a cave we can explore down that way, it looks like. I don't see any Illuvials here. Yeah, I was at the area where I first saw the Atlas, actually, and it never spawned, or anything else. Checking out another region might be a good idea, though, actually, because you can actually go to Brightland Steppes and Abyssal Basin right now. I'm going to very quickly, just for morbid curiosity, want to see what's inside this cave. But that might be the next play, is to check out either Abyssal Basin or Brightland Steppes. Okay, here's a good mining spot. Just checking the levels on these real quick. 30. Okay, so 2 15s, a couple level 1s, and a 30. We do have a Doka. We'll pick it up while we're here. I'm not sure what that noise was, but that was a little bit off-putting, I'm not gonna lie. $50-50. We do get the Doka. There we go. Now, it was level 13, so it's not going to be an addition to the team, but I'll gladly accept it anyway. Maybe if it's a bigger level, we can get a bigger bonus when we bond it. Take a peek up here, and I do not see anything Illuvial-wise, so I think I like the idea of checking out another region. And maybe we can get some progress made. So let's see. Brightland or Abyssal? The one thing I have to note is I don't know if they behave similarly to Taiga Boreal, where there's low levels and then scales. I don't know if these start at like level 30 or 40, 50. First one I saw was Brightland. Let's go to the old school. Let's see how we fare there. Probably got all the Illuvials up on the peaks. Yeah, you never know. Or slash and just kill them all. I don't know. That and the joke time. You miss Abyssal? Abyssal, I definitely spent a lot of time in with Overworld, and I do miss it as well. Alright, first time here. In terms of the shape of this, let's see if there's any real difference. It kind of looks like the Abyssal of old. And I guess our main goal for now is maybe to try and find some of these fast travel points. Maybe try and unlock them for later. The one thing that I will note, it does seem like my frames just got hit by a truck. Okay, level 25 right off the rip. So while it is higher, at least it isn't undoable or unbearable for where I'm currently at in the game. We're very quickly getting into 30s, though. That's a little bit scary. No Illuvials yet, though, and we're in a completely different area that I have never traversed yet. There we go. We do actually find one. There's a big flish here. It's still a lesser, but it's level 25. But I cannot take it on while this Beyblade is going to try and shred me down. Oh, it actually turned around. Okay. Flish. Let's get him. Okay, got him down to the emergency. Want to hit him with my special one more time before trying this. I'm getting absolutely smoked. I need to use it now. Can we add a level 25 to this? We're not gonna have. We're gonna have to try this again. A Tipo heals. Mash capture. I do die before I get to mash capture. That's irritating. I was mid-animation and it didn't fire it off. If you find a bug, do you have to give a team a recording of it and summary? Something along those lines, which is why I'm also happy to be streaming right now, because we have video evidence of everything that I experience. And when it comes to summarizing it, I could just say, hey, timestamp, look here. And this is what I'm talking about. And that would have been a nice flish after that team, I'm not going to lie. I'm sad that one went away. And I'd rather not be pulling these. We have another Illuvial here, so the fact that I've not been here might be helping find some different Illuvials. What do we have hiding out over here? Sidon! Oh, damn! Okay, let's not die, let's not die, let's not die. That would absolutely make my day if we can land this, but I do not want to be... Oh no, the fight's already happening. Atipo, what are you doing, my friend? Not only would this be the first tier 1 we've seen all day, this is the first ever evolved one. No. No. Oh. Damn it! I'm surprised it got killed off so quickly. Axodon, that's supposed to be a tank. Oh. Oh, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, Obelisk Rising, there you go. You got yourself a clip for yourself, but that hurts, man. And now JB probably hates me because I killed their killed their king. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, with how quickly that thing died, it definitely felt like a 12 TPI, I'm not gonna lie. Rocco takes some of that experience. And then my apologies, of course, if me hitting the desk came through really, really loud. I have a limiter on my mic, so hopefully it wasn't too loud. But apologies. Okay, we have a consolation fish here. Level 1. Let's see if I can kill it with one shot. Yep, okay. What? Is that a queen? What did we got? Or is that a flish? It's another flish, okay. 35! That would be incredible if we can pull that off, but we are absolutely getting cooked by minions. And, okay, we've got a spool coming on through here, too. Did they actually change the name of this thing? Thank God they did. Wait. Did they change it from school shooter to shit? I mean, I guess I'll pick my poison. Getting absolutely cooked here. I've burned through all of my Illuvials. It's just a matter of time before I go down here, too, it looks like. I'm just trying to defend myself so I can go after this dang Flish, but there's so many bad guys here that they're gonna go take me down. Is this catch 'em all or kill 'em all? As it stands right now, seems to be kill 'em all. Unfortunately, trying to find them in the Taiga Boreal was extremely difficult. I finally find a couple here in Brightland Steppes, and I've killed both of them. Granted, one of them was just a level 1 Fireflish, so I'm not going to lose sleep over that. That Axodon's going to haunt my dreams for the next, like, couple weeks, though. That sucks. But that was completely self-inflicted. That was just me using a powerful ability, thinking that the Axodon would be much tankier, and it absolutely did not tank that as well as I thought it would, and it just straight up died. Two deaths and a missed stage 3 in 10 minutes. We're cooking. There we go. Turning up the heat, apparently, for this this final, like, 45 minutes or so. A hard loss indeed. I'm very, very sad about that one. Can I sneak by this thing and just grab the teleporter? Lots of these balls of death. I don't even know what to call them anymore. Alright, teleporter. Got it. Okay, success. If I'm gonna get caught, I guess I'm gonna get caught by 2. Let's go. There we go. My Valente actually survived a fight without dying. There we go. Now let's get this Flish here. It is level 25. Whether it be for the bond system or whether it be something different, it'd be very, very valuable. I'm just going to use auto attacks. I'm not going to use something huge. My Illuvials are going to die, but that's fine. I'm happy it's a Tipo. It won't burst it. 50%. Let's try. Come on, don't make me do it again. You're going to make me do it again. Okay, now it's going to probably kill me from the enraged timer. Okay, one more time. Now I've got to dip. It's not going to let me dip. All right, there's death number 3 in the last 10 minutes. Sheesh. Zexy says, do you just want me to Caribou Cup? I can absolutely do that. I'll fix that up after stream. How does fighting against others work? I don't think you can have any sort of PvP whatsoever. Pasu, good to see ya. Hope you're having a fantastic day. How's the game? When it's working properly, I definitely enjoy the hell out of it. Just unfortunately, in the area that I'm supposed to be in, I've not been able to find any Illuvials. So I'm getting a little bit frustrated in that regard, to the point where we've had to go into the spot where I'm a little bit under-leveled. But it's been a good challenge, and in that regards, I'm enjoying it. I still am very, very happy about it. And seeing whatever that big fella is might have me very excited as well. This might be another evolution. Oh, can you guys just disappear? Ay, ay, ay. How far do they chase? Are they going to chase me here? Let's see here in a second. Yeah, Brightland's no longer the starter area, yeah. Yeah, Taiga Boreal is now. That is a greater Fire Valente, so we have... On one hand, we have an evolution. On the other hand, it's still level 1 somehow. So we're gonna burst this thing down probably pretty quickly. Now my freaking Doka killed it. That wasn't even me, I was just auto-attacking. Hey, I know Drax's tagline is maybe it's a skill issue, but maybe I should be adopting it as well, because holy crap am I getting wrecked right now. Now, what do we have up here? I see fire? It's another lesser fire flish, but this one's 35. I'm kind of exhausted with the fleece so far, but at the same time, that's very powerful. Mine's currently 21. If I can't do it versus the quests, it's probably not wise for me to go for that one. Let me find a spot where I can pause and see where the next teleporter is. Try and find some sort of progression here. Probably down that way, towards the west. Seems like they're trying to slow down the build, potentially. That there was team battles, base raids. Nothing that I am aware of. It's not just a rock creature capture like an older world. Eventually there's going to be dungeons and instances and raids, and those are a part of this playtest. We kind of saw me crawl through a dungeon independently earlier, but normally you would take something like that in a group. And that's kind of the competition style that they're going for. Definitely need to keep a lower Illuvial on your team for precisions. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I wish that there's the equivalent of false swipe or something like that, or a mercy hit, so I wouldn't just completely kill something. Okay, I'm gonna dodge this flish on the left, but I think there's another on the right. I want to see if there's something reachable there. That one's 27. But I really want to... So I'm not going to find a tier 1. But I'll find a tier 4 that I cannot catch. This mule it's going to be the second time this damn polar bear trolls me. No. I'm not dealing with you. Nope. I'll leave you alone, mule. I swear. We're getting into the 40s here, so this is kind of scary. What are you? Rota! But you're 34 as well. Okay, I'm just going to speed run all the way up into that teleporter, grab it, and then try to go down. And I am curious as to where the levels go from here. So we've seen 40s, 42. There's a 40, 42. Let's get this teleporter, and then I'll fire back up towards starter area of this zone. Lesser water Doka. Is the teleporter not actually here? It's probably below me. Of course it is. Okay. Another Doka. What's the level of that one? 41, yeah. I'm definitely in over my head. I think we got to try and back up a little bit. Yeah, let's go this way. A greater fire flish mixed in with a bunch of 30s. I wish. Yeah, I'm just gonna get killed. Yeah, part of me wants to try and go back. Like, try and go back to Taiga Boreal. I wish that there was actually some Illuvials there. I'll take a peek around this area, just around the outskirts where they're in the 20s, where it's something maybe a little bit more reasonable that I can tackle. I'm finding nothing but bad guys as of this moment. Muffin Man, good to see ya. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I personally am not willing to drop a rating on it just yet because I've had essentially, or I've not necessarily rather, gotten a true experience of the full game just yet. Right back to Taiga. Go back, there might be a spawn timer, potentially. Different stage Illuvials should have minimum levels like an overworld. I personally do agree as well. Because here's what I will say. Like, as it stands right now, for what this is, the fact that the capture system feels better than what it used to. I do like the enrage mechanic. It does force you to actually think about when you're using your shard, and you're not going full Pokemon Legends Arceus or Pal World, where you're just yeeting balls at everything nonchalantly and turning your brain off. The combat is alright altogether. I wish I had more room for more abilities, for example. Like, I'd love to have a 5th ability, or, excuse me, a 5th either class or affinity ability, and not just the 6 total. But the combat at least did feel better. Scion feels much better to me compared to the last playtest, since you can actually move around and have combat, or like feel like you're actually in combat and not just sitting in AoE while you're charging up a beam for 5 years. I'm thankful that that part changed. As always with everything Illuvium, it does look extremely pretty. There is a lot of UI stuff that does need fixing, but they are completely aware of that. A lot of this is kind of placeholders, for example. And then there's a lot of features in this game that are just essentially not told to you. And that's a little bit frustrating. Like, I still definitely want to keep on playing this, and I'm still going to be continuing to stream this. I just hope that, considering that this is a creature capture, we're already in a space right now with Illuvium as a whole, where we're a creature capture game without the ability to catch creatures. But, like, say right now, like, I'm looking for Illuvials that are something maybe lower than my level, or something equal level. And this is the area I'm supposed to be in, and I can't find anything, and I really, genuinely do not know why. Rich is telling me to use Nether Sight, but do not think that I'm able to even find anything that way either. I mean, I'll humor and see what I can do, but I don't think it's a matter of me not seeing them. I think that they're genuinely just not spawning. Eat it, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Like, I've seen some people to coin a crypto term. I'm not a crypto guy, but I've been around this area long enough to kind of pick up on a little bit of terminology. Like, I see a lot of people, whenever there's any sort of attention onto Illuvium, Obelisk Rising, you see the same heads popping up, butting the living hell out of the game. Just, like, tearing it down like, oh, this isn't as good as Pal World, this isn't as good as Pokemon. And what I will say, like, if you're going to compare Pal World to this game currently, first off, Pal World is meant off of survival and custom building alongside their creature captures. So the genres, the kind of niches that you're hitting to or for each audience, is a little bit different. Of course, there is still the creature capturing element. But like, to me, they can coexist. There's two different audiences that like that. It's like me trying to say, oh, how's this game versus Ark? And that's freaking dinosaurs. So, like, it's the same idea, at least to me. They can coexist. There's going to be audiences for both games. And then for Pokemon, I think is the closest thing that you can get to a one-to-one comparison to this game, which of course is the intention. This is meant to be the Pokemon MMO that Nintendo and Game Freak never gave us, right? So you can tell there's a lot of I'll just quickly snag that. There we are. You can tell that's the inspiration behind it all. But I'll tell you what, you can not like this combat style all you'd like. And there are certain instances that do feel a little bit clunky, sure. But I will take this over press button, press attack, watch animation, go burr, I'm completely hands-off, like one-handed gaming, so to speak. We have seen Pokemon in the past try to do different styles with, say, like the Legends games. And this is what the closest comparison. Like, this is like a Pokemon Legends, either a ZA or a Pokemon Legends Arceus type of feel. And to be fair, I think I like this combat, and I like this creature capturing aspect better if I could find Illuvials. But something like just not being able to find Illuvials right now. Like, I've literally ran a marathon around Taiga Boreal here, and I've not seen a single Illuvial. But something like this can be fixed. And again, this is an alpha playtest, so there is going to be issues. I'm going to find something finally here. A little Earth to Tipo. I'm literally just going to auto-attack this thing down until right here. Scoop you up. Bruh. Stay in the shard, my friend. Oh, we got a Doka over here, too. Almost out of my cure charge there. We do get the Atipo. There we go. To be fair, there should be more than 5 Illuvials per region, and there have been. The thing is like yesterday, it was flourishing. I found Slashin, Riptor, Atlas, Archie. All the tier 0s. Or not all of them, but like a bunch of the stage 1 tier 0s. It felt flourishing yesterday. And it's just not necessarily the case right now. We do have a Doka, so I'm going to try and take this thing down. It's a pretty decent level one at that. Very tanky fella here. Can we somehow muster the damage to get this at least a little bit closer to 50%? Go. Again, the problem with throwing the ball out too early as well, it gets healed all the way back up to half if you screw it up or you don't land it. Yeah, that is going to be the next one cooked. Damn. Is there no equipment to boost capture percent? Not that I've found as of yet. That could potentially be something that's a random roll onto equipment potentially. Paper doll selection always makes it feel like a board game. It really does, and that's why I've always been looking for alternatives for the longest time.
Back in action, baby.
Yeah, they all know that I'm here apparently, and they're hiding out. Okay, on one hand, we did find 2, which is something. Just hate it again that we ended up losing it. There very well might be a little bit of a patch coming on through here. So let's pause for a second. I've got about another 20 minutes or so that I can stream, but let's let this go. Whoa. Yeah, that Axodon's gonna haunt my dreams. I'm telling you what. If that drone augments might get added at some point. They had that back in Overworld, right? That was one of the main things that you would go into the higher stage zones to mine, was to get those ores necessary to be able to make the drone augments for those instances. Can you scan the Illuvial stats before capture? If there is the ability to do so, I do not know how to do it. You should take a rest, sir. What a marathon you're on. I've barely gotten started. While I might be frustrated, this is a good kind of frustrated, in my opinion. Changes are being made from what I understand. We're helping the game get out there. We're helping the game squash some bugs. So my temporary frustration for that can at least be worked on, and it's not a surprise for everybody when Phase 2 comes around for the playtest, or when the actual release comes around. So doing my best to absolutely help on out. And then in regards to the catching, again, it's just a symptom of the bug. If the Illuvials were showing up and they were lower level, but coming more often, I would be a little bit more chipper. But that's still okay. Like, I'm not angry. I'm just a little bit frustrated, but it is what it is. Let's see if I can load back in here. It doesn't look like there's a server up just yet. Let's see if there's any sort of ping or anything along those lines. What I can do here, Zexy, you had mentioned that you wanted into Caribou Cup instead. I can absolutely make the change. And that fills up our Caribou Cup. So Caribou Cup for the first time, full lobby. This is going to be awesome for later on today. Oh, which is unfortunate because now Warrior Ace wants in for Caribou Cup 2. Okay. I can put them on waitlist for the time being. Hop it on over. With it being so many, and we have a few people who are brand new to Illuvium, especially for Illuvium Arena, trying it out for the first time. It's the first time, I think, that I've had players come in to sign up for Caribou Cup, or they've literally just made their account and they have no Illuvials. So I'm very happy to help get some people started on their adventure here today. This is going to be awesome later on. See. Harry, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Yeah, the idea is still here for the stream for the upcoming little bit, because I do definitely want to make the most of my time with Obelisk Rising while the playtest is out, stream it as much as possible. I do believe, like, majority of my arena game days, for example, will probably be replaced with Obelisk Rising for the next little bit. But I do still want to keep my top 30 rank, or what was top 30. I think I've fallen out of it now. But I do want to still be a top player in Arena. So again, just because Obelisk Rising has that new car smell to it, does not mean that everything is going to be Obelisk Rising. And then, of course, if you want to hop on into Illuvium Arena House League, we're going to be doing it in just about, or it'd be just under 3 hours time. And that, again, you have the Caribou Cup side of things, which has ownership completely off. And you just have to worry about playing this as a traditional auto battler, but you do still get some Illuvials just for showing up. So if you want to hop on into that, you're more than welcome to. And we still have plenty of spots right now for our Monarch Masters, which is our ownership on mode. And there are some bigger prizes there as well. But again, all in regards to Illuvials. Big thank you to Illuvium, of course, for continuing to support community events, whether it be mine, whether it be Ratty's, or what have you, continuing to help us out big time. Nothing man saying Caribou Cup is definitely more mainstream than Monarch Masters, you'd think, but actually over the last little bit, it has not been so. But maybe because for the past 19 weeks, it was still ownership on, but just with players that had smaller collections. But I think now with it being strictly casual mode or strictly the ownership off mode, it does open the door for a lot of the players that Caribou Cup was intended for in the first place, which was people just getting started, trying to find a free-to-play route into Illuvium or into Illuvium Arena. That's what House League is meant to be. And I know a lot of people will cringe at the fact that I'm saying, like, oh, this is free-to-play because they value their Illuvials so heavily. But the thing is, the Illuvials that I'm giving them, they could still be very, very low TPI, right? They're not going to be competitive in nature. So trust me, your awesome collections, they're still valuable in my opinion. Absolutely. It does look like we get to hop back in here. Alright, where has it got me? That's me back to where I was. I'm going to go back to the teleporter. And I'm going to reset the instance here. This may not be a thing, but this will just make me feel better, kind of like it's a fresh start, so to speak. Let's go back. No, I don't have money. Now I'm kicking myself because I spent so much of my shards trying to get the common ones, which I want to use for tier 1s. But now I'm actually super low on the tier 0 shards, which is what I've been finding majority of the time. Oh. Okay, there we go. I was going to say, can I not click Taiga Boreal? Okay, there we go. We're good. All right. Let's try to get this. We still need to get our tier 1. We did find a tier 1 at one point. Fully evolved Axodon that I killed. That makes me very sad, but let's see. Can we still find a diamond in the rough? A young hero of sorts in the snowy trenches here in Taiga Boreal. And how about that? We're immediately going to find it! How about that? And like a sucker to my own heart, it is an Archie. I absolutely have a soft spot for this turtle. It was the first thing I've ever caught in Overworld. Will it be the first tier 1 that I also catch here in the playtest? Let's give this a shot. Hopefully I don't kill it. Really don't want to kill it. I was very scared popping that. I'm just going to auto-attack. Auto it down. Auto down. I've got the right shard. No, Grocko, don't stun. Will it be the first thing that we get? We do finally get one right at the end of the day. Archie is going to be our first one. And where the heck? Hold the phone. When did we get a shiny? A holo somehow has also shown up here. So when you're in the overworld itself, does catching the Illuvial or seeing that it's holo or not, does it not show up in combat? I did not realize that I got a holo. I'm happy as hell to get the Archie. In fact, this is probably going to replace the Atipo on my team. I just gotta level him up. But when did we get a holo? And I'm sorry, Archie, for the, Look, does it actually even look hollow, though? It doesn't look like it to me. I'm curious, is this just a settings thing, maybe? If I switch it to medium real quick, I might crash the PC, but let's see. That definitely doesn't look like medium. Huh. Let's bring it back to where we were. Or maybe I have to restart the instance. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that in the middle of the field. Yeah, it's not going to show up as hollow to me. And now, yeah, there's Illuvials just abundantly all over the place. So we've got a couple minutes here. You finish running the region to see what else. Oh yeah, I'm not stopping now. We're going for the next 20, 30 minutes. We're catching as much as possible. Granted, I do not have much in terms of tier 0 shards, but I still want to get as much as I possibly can. Do I pause for the Valente? I think we pause for the tier 0s again since we don't have much in terms of shards. But yeah, now they're starting to show up in abundance. This is how it felt yesterday. This is good. I'm gonna pass them for now because I don't want to use my common shards on tier 0s. And the hollow part, yeah, that's probably just polish that's not included right now, but that's alright. I'm gonna keep looking at these Atipos or any of these tier 0s just in case it happens to be like a grader or something like that. Because if it's an evolution, that's just one additional Illuvial that I don't have to do. Is it an old video card PC or is the game poorly optimized? I actually do all of my streaming, all of my gaming off of a 10-year-old Alienware. I thankfully got this as a gift from work from way back then when I was working in esports, and this is what's been carrying me through my entirety of my streaming and gaming. I unfortunately am not in a position to be able to upgrade my hardware. If this computer dies, I'm screwed, to be completely honest with you. But for as long as I can, we'll make do with what we can, even if it means that I'm stuck on low settings. That's still fine. As long as it's running close to 60 FPS, I'm perfectly fine with it. Building one next year. Very, very nice. Congrats. What we got over here? There's a Doka. We'll leave it for now. I do find it very, very funny, though, that I'm complaining about not finding any Illuvials, and then we get the reset, or we get the patch or something, and then it's immediately my boy, my little Archie, waiting for me. It was meant to be. Looking for the next one. Oh, is that a Chucco? There we go. Little Chucco gonna come on through. Okay, we need to get them, but I'm getting swarmed once again. Ay, 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 okay. I don't want to pull the Chucco, but I might inadvertently end up doing it. Yeah, this ain't good. Hopefully it doesn't despawn. Yeah, this is like a dungeon level encounter here, but now I'm running into another Illuvial, ain't I? Or no, that was the Doka from earlier. Frick. Let's see, can I teleport? If I teleport, do I reset the encounter, though? I have no idea. Chucco was your first Illuvial ream? That's awesome. Quickly take a second to heal, then I'm going to try and drop in. Don't want to pull these guys. Just down that way. I just want to make sure that I'm jumping into the right spot. Let's take fairness for the whales. In the future, we should be able to replace the units we catch on... That's the intention. I believe that's the entire intention right now for what you're saying there, Awaken, because the intended purpose here for the game's linking, like, I will eventually be able to catch something here in Obelisk Rising bring it into Illuvium Arena. I can then take my extra Illuvials. I could take that into Deathmatch if I wanted to. But it all converges here onto Obelisk Rising. Like, I can see a world, I mean, I have no idea if this is actually going to be the case, it's just me speculating, but I can see a world, for instance, where once Obelisk Rising comes out, they completely kill off Auto Drone and Pax. And just make it so that if you want Illuvials, you have to get into Obelisk Rising. Okay, Kirito actually is the one engaged. I think they have that Chucco, so they're probably going to take it from under my fingertips, since I can't get up there. Hold the teleport back up there. Okay. So the Chucco was over there, but Kirito was over there as well. They might have gotten it. If you did, congratulations there, Kirito. Well, I'm at least happy that we did get the Archie, but I'm not content with just one. I feel like I have to clear this area out, otherwise whatever I encounter is just going to blow me up. And of course the Flish gets pulled. Damn it. Get Grocko some levels here nice and fast. Blazin', good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day, mate. Looking forward to seeing you and everybody else, of course, later in House League. We need to relax on that Flish, though. Okay, this thing's about the Beyblade right on top of me. Okay, there we go. Oh, the Chucco's still here. Now I've got this damn Flish on my tail. I think. Oh, that's a level 31 Chucco. Damn. Kirito. You're level 10. Hang on. We can do a little test here. Let's see if Kirito's here. I think they were in chat earlier, so you might be able to hear me. Only the small one. I think that my Valente will be able to take care of it nicely. Okay. We're going to do a switch up, I think. I don't think I can survive the encounter as fire. So one thing that I can do... No, Kirito, hang on one second. One second. 26, which one was it? There. And 1, 2, 3, 4... Swap. Okay. So 1 second here. Let's bring water out. This, of course, is something that we could only do... Oh, crap. I'm locked on the menu. There we go. Okay, heals. All right, we're gonna get it within range. Chucco's still not dead, doing all right. We're gonna get it low. Get it low, get it low, get it low. Charge! Come on. Oh, no. We need a swap of tank in here. Oh, no, Kirito does go down. And so do I. Damn, great try, Kirito. Thank you for the assist. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Damn it. Yeah, personally, I was thinking of just more so surviving. The Valente probably would have been a wiser idea. I think it did get killed off. Gonna be just barely short. Is it still available? Is it still there? Oh no, I would have teleported away. That was a good fight though. Level 31, we knew it was going to be tough. I think we had the right idea. I could have absolutely played maybe a little bit more optimally in terms of the Illuvial I used. That part definitely does make sense. But I appreciate Kirito for trying to help me out there to try and grab that one. It will end up leaving us here this time. And that's just the flish. Okay. Alright, let's go a little bit closer. But no matter what, even though we didn't get it, and it's now gone, this is the experience that I fantasized about for Illuvium. Being able to team up with somebody, help them find their catch, or help me get a catch. That's what it was all about. And I'm thankful we could finally experience that. We're getting burned right now, but won't be like that forever. I was gonna say, I heard quite the skirmish over here. Now, Kirito, if you want that flish, let's get it for you. I won't throw a ball at it. Or a shard, rather. This would be pretty powerful, I think. I couldn't tell based off of what you only have the one shard left? Okay, so we're just gonna... let's just kill this thing, then. Got the healing coming down. There you go. Because apparently if you kill it, you're supposed to get more rewards. I mean, that was a pretty decent chunk of credits, I'm not gonna lie. Not bad. We need to mine 100%. And to think that I did a massive mining spree prior to this stream, but the thing is I just used way too many of my shards into commons instead of keeping them for tier 0s. Here, let's clear this way here. There we go, Kirito, getting you some levels. Heck, my Chucco got some levels, too. Perfect. There's a Valente down there, it looks like. You know, let's try to make the run together nice and fast. Alright. One thing that I've not seen at all so far in regards to the tier 1s has been any of the snails. No snails at all so far. So we've seen Archie, we've seen Atlas, we've seen Chucco, we saw the Rai out in the wilds before. Can you change class after you pick? You can go back into Sancta Mesa at the very, very starting area, and you can change your class. However, I believe that completely resets your progress to 0. It's meant more as a, like, kind of like a developer option rather than an actual intended feature, if I do recall correctly. So I'd argue that no, you probably can't change your class once you've started. That's a pretty nice Valente. 23 onto that one. And then to confirm Kirito, when we have the opportunity to breathe here, are you specifically looking for tier 1s? Is that what's happening here? Because if that is the case, then we can just kill off the Valente again. Okay, you are strictly looking for tier 1s. Okay. Well, then here, what I'm going to then do... We'll kill that guy. That was a good amount of experience. I just got up to level 23, so I'll gladly take that. Do I get an increase? Oh, nothing in regards to affinity. Only Scion. It's hella frustrating. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run past these mobs in a second. I think this one already got pulled, so it's okay. I'll bring them with. Might not necessarily get to the distance I was hoping for. Yeah, let's just clear it up. Let's go to the frozen area down below. Sometimes stuff spawns there. If we get lucky. Maybe we could find something before we close out for the Obelisk Rising portion of today's stream. Yeah, like, and that's how it was for all of the other MMOs that I can think about for the most part. I know Final Fantasy, rather, you can actually change your class, and that part's totally, like, cool. You can do it whenever. But, like, World of Warcraft, once you're a druid, well, you're stuck as a druid unless you pay. I picked up all of those. My apologies if I then set off the field. That's a Doka. Apologies if they're coming after you. Hopefully you're able to run away from it. I'm just trying to see if maybe there's a tier 1 we could scout out here for you. This is a bit of a dangerous area, though. We're into the upper... Hey, what is... is that just... It's a Kuka! We got a Kuka here. We found ourselves a tier 1. Alright, so if we can make it here... There is something. We're gonna have to work for it, though. Thankfully, they aren't too crazy here. My Flish is leading the charge rather nicely. Heal. Try and keep it topped off. It'll take a little bit slower, but at least we're not dying. Here's Kirito. Alright. There was a Kuka just around the corner here. There it is. Level-wise, level 1. I'm only going to auto-attack and heal. Take it. There we go. There's the tier 1 for you. Perfect. Oh, you got it. That's perfect. That's perfect. You too get in the tier 1 here before we close out stream here today. The Kuka for Kirito. There we go. The Chucco would have been cool. The fact that that thing was level 31 was nice. But unfortunately, it didn't quite get it. But we'll gladly still take the Kuka. I wonder if it has a stun. Unfortunately, you can't actually see what their Omega does as of this. It's hollow? No. Oh. That's actually incredible. That's actually awesome. Here. Let's scan the area for potentially one more. One more thing to call it a day. I see a Doka over there, but again, I'm all out of tier 0 shards, and I don't want to use my tier 1 shards for it. But I will say, devs, whatever you were doing to get the spawns to come back, thank you. It absolutely did work. And this is going to be the 3rd time that I'm going to be trolled by this damn mule. This is stupid, but let's try it. It's a tier 4, so my shards are going to do next to nothing, I think. But we're going to go for glory. Yeah, 1% chance. We're going to burst this thing as best as we possibly can. 2, 3, Archie. 3% chance! Nope, not yet. Need the heals quickly. Think I'm gonna get timed out. One more time. Rocco. No. It would have been cool if it worked. It would have been cool if it worked, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that is very tough. But I'm glad we tried. Another young Atipo. Let's get healed up, actually. Oh, I thought you went back to base, Kirito. Yeah, 3% chance. I mean, it's not 0, right? And honestly, that's what I love about the game in its current state when it comes to the capture chance. Because it would be very easy, and in fact, we had seen in Overworld, for instance, that if you were trying to use, say, a tier 3 shard on a... Or no, not a tier 3. Like, if you were to try to use a tier 1 shard on a tier 4, it would be just flat out, no, 0. You're not getting nothing. But the fact that there is a chance can still lead to some absolute epic moments. And I like that a lot. Okay, I'm going to go take a look up on this hillside here. There was a spawn before. It was a Doka last time. Maybe it'll be something different. Yeah, we need more shards. Absolutely. Again, got so many of these damn tier 1 shards, but not going to use that on a tier 0. And I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me mine. I'll do that off stream. Decent little lesser air Grocco, but it's not going to be the one that I'm looking for. And it's just a bunch of guys around here. Now, Kirito, if you're still looking to kind of venture together, I'm probably going to teleport here in a second. Because it looks like we found most of the encounters, at least for the time being. And they're all of the Tier 0 variety. So I want to try and check maybe the other side of the map.
Got it.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking, I'm not sure if you have this point done, but if the obelisk is here, I'm going to go all the way to the left side and go round this corridor here. That's where I'm going to go. We can take a look at as well when we're on the way back for to close out the stream, if maybe the spawns came back. Okay, so I'm going to slide down. At least Chucco got some good levels. They were like 12, I believe, at the start of the stream today. They're level 18, and I definitely was not using them as much as I was, or I probably should have. Need some food get made for some games later? Absolutely. I'm going to be doing the same thing very, very shortly. Thank you for partying up briefly. Glad we were able to get you that kuka. That's absolutely fantastic. I think we run it back, right? This being the game I want to play in Camp is insane to me. Well, hopefully, it doesn't have to be that way for too much longer. Alright, this is probably stupid, but we're gonna go for it anyway. This now just got very stupid. But thankfully, we're already specced into water. Chucco just went absolutely nuts with that Omega, I think, and really crushed them down. Use this for the damage boost that it gives you. Heal. Nuke you down. More heals. Guard. Just about a 3% chance once again. We got the mule! Second time's the charm, and this thing could finally stop teasing me. Finally, I can't even find the right... It's all How about that? Absolutely incredible. I got a hollow mule. And it's hollow. I wish this was a real thing. And not just a beta or a pre-alpha. That's incredible. And level 20 as well, so I don't even have to level this thing up too much to catch up to me. I wish I could take you with me. But we'll enjoy the time that we have for now. I think that's probably an appropriate place to leave it off for today. Streamer luck. Absolutely. That feeling right there, even if it wasn't hollow. How I was just talking about it having just that slight chance to be able to actually pull it off is huge. And that was a relatively good fight. It felt even. The fact that the ads or the other enemies came through as well, making it that much more difficult, was super satisfying. I'm checking. Is that a greater? That's a lesser. Alright. That seems like a pretty fun, even fight. Making sure nothing else is coming around. Mule, get in there. Cooldowns. Attack buff. Heal. Now let's pump the damage. Stay alive, buddy. Hey, get out of here. That is absolutely awesome. I'm genuinely at a loss for new words. As somebody who yaps a lot, that's kind of impressive in my opinion. We actually got the tier 4 and it ended up being hollow. That's nuts. Maybe I don't want to do any more damage. Maybe I just want to heal you just so that you do all the damage for me. Take the Grocco out. Alright, let's get back to base. The perfect Illuvial for my class 2? Absolutely. Well, sweetheart, let me tell you what. Was just about to give up on the day. This fella right here, it doesn't show it right now, but there was basically a 3% chance to actually capture this guy. We caught it. It is also a shiny or a hollow. So you can tell the boys Daddy found a shiny. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that. My oldest son in particular would come play Overworld with me constantly. Dad, are we hunting shinies? With Overworld being gone, I've not been able to say yes to that question in a very long time. Well, we just did on accident. And it's possible. Yes, it's just a playtest. But there we go. I am closing up shop, though. I'm going to be coming to get you in just a couple of moments. The last thing I want to do before closing out the stream here for today, I had mentioned the bond system. I do want to showcase that. Mr. King, come on. Good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So first and foremost, in terms of finding the tier 1, we found it, and not only did we find it, it happens to be one of my favorites, of course. The first tier 1 I catch in this game, it was the first tier 1 I caught when Overworld first came out. So Archie continues to be that. And then, of course, this absolutely ridiculous catch here onto this mule. And with that, the bond system. So I've got a bunch of extra Illuvials now, right? It doesn't showcase it as of this moment, but what you can do, this UI is currently being worked on, from what I understand. Like, talking to Perry, that like it's going to be improved upon so you know better of what you're doing and making it a little bit more obvious that you can do this. Like, say if I wanted to toss out this, let's see, I've got abundance of Dokas, right? If I want to toss away the Doka, if I dragged it and brought it to increase bond, we do now get a bonds level. Now, level 1 apparently doesn't actually work as intended, it doesn't do anything, but if I can bring this thing to level 2, this takes a little bit more. I do believe that the level of the thing that I'm giving up in, like, will give it more bonds level. And then optimally, you have another mule, and it gives you a big ol' boost. Now, I want to be careful, because I don't want to not have one of each element. There are some quests that actually require specific elements. Yeah, Flish, I think we're good for now. There we go, level 2. We now get Affinity Bond as a bonus. And from what I understand, what this does is it'll add the affinity of the Illuvial to at least your attacks. I don't know about spells, but it's basically a 20% of... 20% air buff of some sort. Since the mule's air. They did drop a description list. I have to go through it all, and I'll absolutely explain this a little bit better a little bit later on. In fact, maybe I can take a peek right now in just a second here. Okay, Perry did actually write it down completely. There we go. Let's see. So Affinity Bond, it's a 20% damage bonus with the affinity of the Illuvial that is out on top of any damage that you deal. So an additional 20% air damage, basically, is what I'm doing with pretty much any damage. It does not mention it in regards to it being spell-based or auto attack. So just that bond has upped my damage considerably. And I think that is essentially a fantastic way to end off the stream here for today. Of course, this is not my only stream today. We're going to be doing Illuvium Arena House League in just about 2 hours time. We still have some openings for those that do want to compete in the Monarch Masters. We have a full lobby of Caribou Cup, but you're still absolutely more than welcome to try and sign up for it because there is a waitlist. If somebody no-shows, you'll absolutely be allowed to hop on in. And if we happen to get a bunch, like a burst of entries for Caribou Cup, screw it, I'll make a second lobby. That's totally fine fine to me. And for Monarch Masters, we still got a handful of spots, of course, available. That'll be, of course, again, 2 hours time. Definitely going to be looking forward to having that experience with you guys. I'm going to be quickly having lunch, picking up the kids and my wife real fast, and then we'll be back online in no time. If this was your first time tuning in, of course, or if you've been a long time watcher, it would mean the world to me, of course, if you can drop a subscription here onto the channel. I've been trying to build this channel up based off of strictly Illuvium content, and it's been an absolute blast. Been doing it since last August, and the community, the game, has been absolutely wonderful to be a part of. I know there is still, of course, its ups and downs, but what doesn't? So I'm very much looking forward to some more Obelisk Rising, some more Illuvium, regardless of which title it happens to be in, and hanging out with all of you once again, especially in just a couple of hours here for House League. If you do also wish to go the extra mile and wish to support me in some way, I do have a referral code in the Illuvidex, so if you're loading up on fuel, whether it be for the auto drone or for something else that requires fuel, I do have a code that you can use that gives me a small kickback after a certain threshold is hit. My code is silent. It shows up in the top right-hand corner of your Illuvidex. There's a little drop-down menu when you click your profile, and you can use my code there. It would mean the absolute world to me, of course. Whether it be for myself or whomever your favorite creator is, drop their code in there, and it'll be absolutely huge. But yeah, I will be calling it a night, or not calling it a night, calling it a morning. We'll be right back, of course, in just a couple of hours with Illuvium Arena House League. I'll talk to you all then. Thank you for joining me.